I'm fine, Zora. I don't need to go see a shrink. I'll be fine. He wasn't fine. He needed professional help. Yet our weekly HR Connects had become a kind of a therapy for him, a place where masks came down and he dared to face his exhaustion and talk about what was really going on. But you know that I'm a psychologist, so it's not that bad to talk with us, I replied. But with you, it's different. You are from HR. Going to see a shrink would mean there was something wrong, something broken. And I am not broken. I'm just tired, really tired. I'll be fine, he replied, making it clear that this was not the avenue he was willing to explore, at least not today. If I had a golden coin from these types of conversations I've had during the last 20 years, I would have a mansion with a sea view by now. I've met many leaders and professionals in my HR years who were not well nor broken enough to go seek professional help. Calling a helpline or finding a therapist may at times be too big of a step to take for someone who is busy carrying the world on their shoulders. It was for me too. I had just separated, two small kids, and living in a foreign country where I had no family or relatives to support. On top of my day-to-day work as HR, I had paperwork like taxes, insurances, bills, whatnots that I had to figure out in German, which is not my mother tongue. Not to mention the calls to the German-speaking authorities who, instead of helping a foreigner to catch a thought mid-air, waited in a creepy silence until I managed to find words and complete a sentence. But I was just fine. My workplace at the time adjusted to my changed reality and helped me to have the flexibility I needed now as a single parent. But in my head, I felt often like a disappointment or burden to others, as I could travel only on specific days in a week, or I declined late evening calls or dinners in order to spend time with my kids. My children at the time, 5 and 7, were adjusting to the life in two homes, and I surely wasn't for them the present mother as I would have wanted to be. Mother's guilt was my blanket in the evenings as I went to bed and my breakfast the next morning. I remember having taken my kids for a weekend in a nearby family resort, when for the first time I broke in tears in front of them. I still see their faces in my mind as they looked at me wipe my tears off so we could go to the pool together. But I was still bloody fine. My back had started to give me trouble. For weeks I kept telling myself it'll be fine, until one day I couldn't properly walk without pinching pain in my lower back. I went to see the doctor and she ordered me some further examinations. At the end, she asked me a very simple question. Anywhere else you feel pain? And that's when the dam broke and the tears came out nonstop for the next 30 minutes. I felt pain everywhere, but it wasn't physical pain. There was no going back. I had to admit to myself I needed help. She gave me antidepressants and booked a time at a therapist. I no longer was fine. Now, to be honest, this therapist wasn't my cup of tea. I went a couple of times and then stopped. And this is the reality. It's hard to find the available therapist. And when you find one, there's the chance that it's not the right one for you. Just like not every hairdresser knows how to make you look at your best, neither does the connection with every psychologist bring the best out of you. I found mine only years later, but my recovery started from the moment the dam broke at my doctor's office. It was then I knew I wasn't fine and that I needed a path to get well again. And I did. How about you? Want to share with me your recovery story for others to hear when they are in midst of navigating through their storm? I'd love to hear how you navigated through yours and what were the key turning points in your recovery story. Let's normalize the dialogue about mental struggles by spotlighting the recovery stories we all have. I'd love to interview you and let others be inspired and find hope in your story.